Honourable member for Calgary-Buffalo, followed by Edmonton-Beverly-Clear.
This government made bushels of promises to bundles of people during the last election. Many of these promises were made to students in our K-12 education system. Instead of following through with these promises, gone are the AAC program, gone is the promise of full-day kindergarten, gone are 600 teachers from the system. To the Minister of Education, the Alberta Distance Learning Centre supports 6,000 students. Your 56% cut to their school partners means that only 30,000 of these students will get the assistance they need. How is this going to improve our high school graduation rate?
Honourable Minister of Energy. Education.
Mr. Speaker, the honourable member is right. We did make lots of promises, and we are keeping them. And the ADLC has done a great job. But I want to say that our goal with Budget 2013 was to make sure that every child, every student that walks through the door is getting the instructional funding that they need, and we're continuing that instructional funding, even though we're going to have 11,000 more students next year. But unlike the members said opposite, who would just like to jack up taxes to cover these costs, what we're doing and what Albertans expect government to do is to live within our means and look everywhere we can, making difficult choices to make sure that we're taking those taxpayer dollars and we're spending them wisely, and that's why we had to make some changes to the way we're delivering this.
Well, given that the Alberta Distance Learning Centre supports a variety of students who are having challenges taking part in the education system, either because they are working or have challenges in the classrooms, or even do not have a public education opportunity in their community, how are these Albertans going to get the education they need with these cuts?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, those distant learning opportunities are still there in Alberta, and they're there through fantastic organizations like the ADLC, like Athabasca University. But, Mr. Speaker, up until now, we haven't been paying the same for a distance learning credit as we do a traditional credit. We've been paying 156% for the distance learning credit as we do the traditional learning credit. And that doesn't make sense because it actually costs less money to deliver distance learning education than it does in the traditional classroom. Why would this member want Alberta taxpayers to pay more dollars for a service that costs us less to deliver?
Honourable member.
What the minister said just doesn't ring true, Mr. Speaker. I got off the phone with the ADLC this morning. They said they're going to go from being able to support 60,000 students to 30,000 students. How is this going to help those 30,000 students who will not be able to access this programming with these cuts?
Come on, Jeff. Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, to clarify, the ADLC funding was not cut. What happens when we have a distance learning course, it's delivered from the ADLC, but it's delivered through a resident school division. And the resident school division for that student gets 100% of the funding for that credit. The ADLC gets 56% of the funding for that credit. So we fund that credit to 156% of what we do the traditional learning, but it costs us less to deliver. So what we did is we said we'll keep the 56% at the ADLC. We're not going to touch their funding. It's an important delivery method, but we're not going to fund the local resident school at 100% because they don't have to deliver a teacher in the classroom. They don't need to deliver those services. We're going to give them 44%. So
Thank you, Honourable Minister.